It's the Security Weekly News. Welcome to the week of 7 December 2025. I'm Doug White, and welcome to the show. Well, it's almost holiday season, and you know it is when you wake up naked in the senior VP's walk-in closet and have apparently written Fortran rules all over their suits and lipstick. So you dress and drag and pretend to be the upstairs maid who's just cleaning up, and the next thing you know, it's season 6 of He Said, She Said, and you've won a sitcom Emmy. Netflix, call me. I got 1 million of them. Come on. We've got Hypnotoad, AI Galore, Storm-0249, DocuSign, Broadside, Goldblade, Ships at Sea, Sora, Aaran Leyland, and more on the Security Weekly News.
This is a Security Weekly production for security professionals by security professionals. Please visit securityweekly.com/subscribe to subscribe to all the shows on our network.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
It's the show that keeps you up to date on the latest security news twice a week. Your trusted source for accurate security information and expert analysis. It's time for the Security Weekly News. Ever feel like your network infrastructure is stuck in the past? Meet Meter, the company reimagining what it means to get and stay online. Meter delivers full-stack networking, wired, wireless, and cellular, all in one seamless, scalable, and secure solution. From hardware design and firmware to software, deployment, and support, Meter streamlines every part of your network while giving you all the control and transparency you need. Whether you're managing a branch office, retail stores, or a massive data center, Meter gives you performance, reliability, and the visibility you need to stay in control. Thanks to Meter for sponsoring. Go to securityweekly.com/meter to book a demo now. That's securityweekly.com/meter, METER. Ransomware, supply chain attacks, 0 days. Cyber threats don't wait, and neither should your defenses. With ThreatLocker, you're not just reacting to threats, you're stopping them before they start. Our Zero Trust endpoint protection locks down your environment with pinpoint control over what's allowed to run and what's not. No guesswork, no blind spots, just proactive, built-for-now security that keeps your business moving. Want to see how a true default deny strategy works? Head over to securityweekly.com/threatlocker and take the first step towards shutting the door on threats before they even knock. All right, I'm Doug White, and it's the Security Weekly News. Hit that like, subscribe, and leave a comment button, or really stupid people will make a bunch of really stupid laws, and the next thing you know, you can't buy ether or cocaine anymore at the grocery store. Damn hippies. All right, as AI becomes a part of our every nook and cranny, and suddenly your AI toilet can't flush because an update is downloading and it needs a reboot, we probably should start thinking about what happens when it stops. Like a lot of other vectors, we've started to see, whether it's DNS or back-end libraries or whatever, it all turns into a supply chain problem when we mesh the whole thing. So Microsoft is working to mitigate an ongoing incident that keeps users in Europe from accessing Copilot, which is, of course, Microsoft's AI-powered assistant. Now, the whole story I didn't find that interesting, and the outage apparently was due to some capacity scaling issue that Microsoft is correcting, but it really makes a point, I think, for security personnel. And I'll use an illustration from another area, which was, during a hurricane, I think it was Sandy, police were driving through neighborhoods with their loudhailers on, saying that you should go to this website to see your evacuation route and evacuate immediately. Now, basically, everybody goes, on their phone to go to the website, and the website crashed. Now what? What do you do? Like, they're not announcing, go this way, or you should really start heading toward Connecticut or maybe Pennsylvania, but just go to this website, and the website's, crashed. And we had a phone show a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about what happens when your telephone is missing, or, when the AI back end of your robo sawmill fails, and how do you continue operations, whether it's your life or everything else? And, what happens when the robo sawmill bots get stupid on you and they decide just to harvest the whole town? I mean, remember Box? No Logan's Run fans. You have to read the book to get the real nuance of Box, but and that's important plot point. How about Holly 6, poor Farrah Fawcett. I think it's a good time to start thinking about all the things that can go wrong with AI, but also about what happens when we become even more dependent on it and it stops. So interesting story. Well, you can't earn an honest living as an illegal access broker anymore, I guess. I don't know. Apparently they can. But the group called Storm-0249 is apparently shifting their role from a very simplistic initial access broker and starting to adopt things like domain spoofing, DLL side loading, fileless PowerShell execution, all so that they can better sell their illegal access to ransomware attackers and or become ransomware attackers themselves. Now, originally, Storm-0249 was just selling access to other criminals and was primarily focused on ransomware and extortion groups way back in 2024. Earlier this year, they were running a phishing campaign for tax season, and they were using Latrodectus and Brute Ratel C4 post-exploitation framework to establish persistence and then sell the access. But the latest findings reported in this article show that they've started using click-fix attacks and getting users to run the commands themselves, so they don't even have to rely on true social engineering anymore. Like, cut out the middleman. Just run a click fix. Now, their attacks currently are using curl. Yay, curl. The way the internet should be. Use curl to retrieve PowerShell code from a URL that looks kind of like Microsoft. It's actually got a path that says us.microsoft.com in the path, but it's actually running from sgcipl.com. Now, this all ends up with a malicious MSI package being run with system privileges, which drops a Trojanized DLL for SentinelOne's endpoint solution. And that goes into the app data folder alongside the Sentinel agent networker.exe file, which is part of SentinelOne. So that ends up sideloading a rogue DLL. Boy, this is like a jargon layout. It sideloads a rogue DLL when the Sentinel agent process is fired off. Now, I don't really know that this is changing the role of Storm-0249 as the article claims. It sounds like they've just adopted a much more sophisticated approach to selling illegal access. They're still basically providing that same service to your network for others to step in and abuse you, but it looks like they're adding a lot of complexity, obfuscation, and more sophisticated techniques to their operation. So be careful out there. Speaking of phishing, the top threat coming to an inbox near you is DocuSign. Yep, DocuSign impersonations. I mean, I love that when I need to sign something, I don't have to drive all the way to school and scribble something in a box that's 1 centimeter wide that no one can read, but somehow supposed to authorize all kinds of stuff. Or I want to buy a piece of property and I have to fly to Florida. Not that I would buy property in Florida. I sold some, but when I sold my Florida property, originally I probably would have had to fly to Florida to close the deal. But, now I can DocuSign the whole thing. And, we all get probably some DocuSigns every day, if not a lot. But, whether it's acknowledging the receipt of a subpoena for that whole public nudity thing, or approving your kid's field trip to the Cardboard Box Museum, or approving a massive holiday bonus for all your hardworking faculty, hint, hint. But it just makes things simpler, right? It also can be, non-repudiating kind of factor, but it does, it means that it's a reaction from you on something important. So Strongest Layer analyzed a data set that had more than 2,000 email attacks that got around enterprise email security systems and found that DocuSign was about 13.8% of them. I mean, you get an email that says, we need your approval to continue life support. Or, you tend to sign that, when you see things like that. I got one for my daughter's school once that said she was going to be left at the school gym alone if I didn't sign this form so she could go on the field trip to the science museum. And I was reaching to click it. I was like, oh, I don't want her left there. And I don't want to have to try to hurry and drive there to pick her up. And then I thought, they would never contact me. I think I'm on their list of irresponsible clowns or something. Her mother's a responsible one. They would, and I immediately went and looked at it. And guess what? It was an attack. So, I mean, I approved that visit to a crack house without reading it. But I mean, many of these attacks are trying to get your Microsoft 365 credentials because that gives a nice persistent way to get into your networks. And they found 281 of those specifically just in the attacks that were using DocuSign as a vector. So this stuff's tricky. You train your employees to read it, to click, to check the links and so forth. But then here comes the thing they need to sign. It's urgent. Oh my God, it just came from the senior VP of something. Please sign here for receipt of your holiday bonus check or it will be canceled. I mean, I would know that was a fake if somebody sent me a holiday bonus check. But yeah, most likely mine's the one that says, this is the notice of your holiday termination. Please sign the receipt and leave the keys to your office in the night drop. So it's definitely a thing and it's getting worse. And you probably need to continue to, tell your people about it. I guess this is a theme today. A fake resume scheme being run by Goldblade spreads red loader malware and then QW crypt ransomware, according to Sophos. Goldblade, if you don't know them, they've also been called Red Curl, Red Curl, Red Wolf, and Earth Capra. I don't even get one name, and they get 4. I can be Silent Bob. How about Sideshow Bob? Mr. Bob? K Bob? I don't know. Hey, my grandfather's name was Pearly White. No kidding. And no, that's not the answer to any of my security questions anywhere, anytime. So don't waste your time. And besides, I got $19 a full tank of gas, half a pack of mild 7s. It's dark and I'm wearing sunglasses and it's 106 miles to Chicago. Wait, I'm getting, what was I even talking about? Cannibal Army spotted outside Patterson, New Jersey, film at 11. And it's a mess in here. Anyway, Goldblade uses social engineering with fake resumes, cover letters, CVs, which is what academics call their resumes, because, calling them resumes would be all, very low level curricula vitae. And but they send all this stuff to hiring managers who are trying to hire. So basically, some of their attacks have links which can load other files, of course, including red loader DLL, which when that gets triggered as a side-loaded attack, puts up a fake Indeed page for distraction. So, now your hiring manager going, Indeed, I need to log into my Indeed account. And then it connects to the command and control server. It then creates a scheduled task that will download and execute another stage, which can, of course, do pretty much anything. But currently, it's another hack for hire. So they're just trying to establish a way into the network that's persistent, according to Sophos. Goodbye, Blue Monday. Why hack when you can hire one of our many door hack drivers to stop by and do the hack for you? So the long-awaited point is that this kind of social engineering is not going away. It works. I mean, I think I'm hung up on it because we're pre-recording a show for you to watch during the holidays called You're Going to Click That Link. And I was thinking about that all day because we're going to record that tomorrow so you can watch it during the holidays and when we're all away and everybody's down. But it's actually a pretty important area that you need to focus on. Well, that anger management training that you sent me to after I called the provost a stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder? Well, I really don't want to go. It's online, but even then, I don't want to sit through that. Bob and Sarah are in the break room. Sarah says, would you like a coffee? Bob proceeds to throw the hot coffee in her face. Who's at wrong here? I really did get sent to anger management once because I kind of gave the finger to a senior VP who changed my app dev priority board. I got a lot angrier because while I was listening to the same senior VP read a poem called something like The Company I Love, I had like 6 major problems that were, into the red zone and they weren't being fixed because I was stuck sitting at this all day and I was going to have to work all night to fix them because, Russ never sleeps. And, the senior VP whose job consisted of criticizing people's neckties, worrying that we were hiring men with earrings and we should probably have a mandatory Bible meeting on Wednesday morning, droned on and on and on. That actually really happened. And so the anger management meeting made me a lot more stressed and angry than it should have. But anyway, it's off track Tuesday today, I guess. But, and I guess none of this is helping with that job I applied for a few weeks ago. They're probably watching. Hi, I think I ate some bad sashimi, and that must be what's going on. It's why I'm like this. It'll be fine next week. But the point was, what if I could send agentic AI in my place? Oh, my. Don't want to fight in the Civil War? Pay $300 and we'll send someone to fight for you. Someone better suited to fighting than you, Lord Pennyweather. Well, Gartner put out an article that said that agentic AI browsers are too risky for most organizations to use currently. And I mean, browser AI is becoming embedded in everything. And so every browser you pull up is like, try our new AI search. And I think the implications of Perplexity or Gemini or whatever your browser is using, sitting on your search, which is worrisome in and of itself, and or making recommendations, which could be complex, and also maybe it's just doing your task for you. I mean, if I could tell my browser to actually fill in and to watch and answer my mandatory parking training for serial abusers on campus, I used to have the record. I mean, I won't park in a handicapped spot. Okay, no way. That's lame. Don't be a D-bag. But that big juicy spot that says reserved for Dean Wormer, I'm there. I mean, Dean Wormer's not even here today, so why can't I park in his spot? But I do think Gartner's story is pretty interesting, and I do see this happening. Hey, Chatty, fill out this wildlife harassment class for me. I don't want to do it. I'm too busy. Could you do this online exam while I go and save lives, Chatty? Gartner says cybersecurity must block AI browsers for now. And I think I pretty much agree. And you probably should be thinking about this because your employees have this. If you're using any of the mainstream browsers, it's already been embedded. What is it doing? And what all is it going to do? And what are they going to use it for? I mean, I don't want to be a Luddite, but these things worry me a lot. I don't think about ships very much. There's a lot of them. And I mean, we live by the ocean. So we see ships, you're driving across a bridge. That crate of Nixon masks you ordered, it's sitting on one of those ships right now somewhere, maybe in Panama, maybe in, I don't know, Brazil, maybe in Hong Kong. 8 million tons of scrap metal that was sitting beside the strip club in Providence last week. It's on a barge headed to somewhere over the horizon where they can dispose of it cleanly and safely. Right. We know where they take that scrap metal. But there's hundreds of thousands of transport ships registered currently. And estimates say, and I didn't do heavy research on this, but they said that something like 50 to 75,000 ships are currently at sea at any given time, which the ocean's pretty big. But, in days gone by, seasoned salt sailed the seven seas sassily. And I don't know, they used a compass, some twine, a transit, and a guy named Bosun Bobar to go from Portsmouth to Botany Bay. They didn't have any of this stuff. But today we keep turning everything over to AI, and we're starting to see, proposals of automated ships. I saw an automated sailboat in Italy that the sails went up automatically. They adjusted automatically. You didn't need Popeye to climb up in the mast and, adjust the sails. We just sit around with some gin and our Earl Grey hot while Chatty sails us around the Cape of Good Hope. Well, a Mirai botnet variant is threatening maritime logistics by exploiting a flaw in digital recording devices that are used in seagoing vessels. The attack would allow remote command injection to enable the attacker to establish netlink-based process monitoring and other, problems. Sidome's cybersecurity research team called the Mirai variant Broadside and said the attack has been active for months, targeting these DVR systems and other IoT flaws on ships. And the report said that most sailing vessels are very similar, and they have very little security hygiene, and they have many old, dated systems that are unpatchable or at least unpatched. And I think this is definitely a neglected area that we don't think about enough. I mean, there may be 80,000 metric tons of liquid natural gas just sailing by out there when you cross the Verrazano Bridge on the way to a presentation. I mean, the Canterbury, hauling 8 million cubic meters of ice from the outer rings, is headed right towards Earth. What could go wrong? 5% of the speed of light, no problem. I mean, all this scares me a lot because I do see those ships and I see them pulling into the bay and I see them sailing out. And I'm like, what if somebody was, compromising these? And I wonder just how much cybersecurity they have. I haven't seen very many cybersecurity jobs listed as on board the USS Canterbury. I really haven't seen those. So I wonder, maybe I should get one though. Then they could put me at sea. I could permanently be at sea. That would be interesting. Somebody hire me. I could do that. I could be on a ship. They probably wouldn't end up stabbing me and throwing me overboard. Actually, they would. Yeah, I would definitely get stabbed and thrown overboard. AI videos are flooding social media. And by AI videos, I mean fake videos, fake commentators, fake reports, fake everything. Want to prove something? Make a fake video with Sora. I mean, take Sora. I can make a fake person talking about the Canterbury hitting the Earth in 3 to 6 months at 5% of the speed of light. Probably start a panic, right? It could be Orson Welles. I'm putting on weight for the role, but I could tell everyone to buy my penny stock for Earth lifeboats. I could have that penny stock being endorsed by Elon Musk, or I could have it being endorsed by Bernie Madoff. It's like you build it, you post it on social media. There's no guardrails there. And especially now, I mean, all those social media companies, originally were getting forced to add guardrails, and now they're rolling them all back. And it's just, you just sit back and wait for the sweet, sweet sound of money rolling in. I need to up my evil setting by about 10%. But I mean, not even everybody's in this for the money, right? I mean, what if you want to change your opinion about Prince? And I post Prince talking about how much he likes to eat babies. You don't like some politician? How about a fake story saying they did something, or a fake alibi saying they didn't do something? Who can you trust? The AI ghost of Walter Cronkite, animated Pope Alexander VI, space ghost? I don't know who. People will listen to any of them. You can literally create a fake Pope Alexander VI and have Alexander VI telling people what to do, and they'll listen to it. It's amazing. But there was a fake story about selling food stamps for cash, something that offends a lot of people apparently. And this was fake. It was made by Sora. It caused all kinds of outrage, anger, and people screaming bloody murder and whatever. But it's just going to get worse. I mean, just because we put guardrails on one social media site, if we even did that, it doesn't mean someone less scrupulous would set up a different rogue site that generates fake media. So how will we know what's live, what's Memorex, and what really is just a voice in your head telling you to go on? You want to just eat the whole thing in the car. Nobody will know. I mean, it has a lot of implications for phishing, social engineering attacks, psychological attacks, bullying attacks on other people. I mean, what if I can make a Sora video of that guy that Sherry dumped me for, and that guy is, I don't know, pretty seriously advocating for everyone to attack stinky tofu vendors because they have Sputnik syndrome. Next thing you know, the government's banning Sputnik syndrome and stinky tofu vendors. I mean, think about the chaos. You don't actually have to. It's already there. But there is a person who simply cannot be faked. The one and the only and most absolutely likely not an AI bot is Aaran Leyland. Hi, Aaran.
Oh, it's all going to go crazy today because I have to talk at 3 times the speed. Can you believe that? But it's worth it. So we're going to get straight into it. Okay, let's talk about the target, not an advert in ChatGPT. That's target the shop because it's a lot bigger than one stupid shop for home and groceries button. Bleeping Computer spotted it first. A ChatGPT Plus user, a paying customer, asks about Windows BitLocker. Why would you do that? ChatGPT answers the question and then apparently quietly injects a branded target shop for groceries tile into the reply. Completely unrelated, including the logo and a prompt to take action, buy some stuff. Yeah, Target needs stuff. They never get hacked. When people quite reasonably called it an ad, OpenAI engineer Daniel McAuley jumped onto X, formerly known as Twitter, to say, no, this isn't an ad. It's an app recommendation from a pilot partner, part of making app discovery feel more organic. The problem was a screenshot. It looked like an ad. It behaved like an ad. It just wasn't being called one. So backlash. OpenAI quietly disabled these ad-like app promotions. Mark Chen told The Verge they had messed up at anything that resembled an ad. If it resembles an ad, it is an ad. Needs different handling. Okay, but maybe the wrong question. The interesting question is, was this technically an ad? So Why is OpenAI even playing in this space inside a conversational agent that people treat and really treat? I know people that share everything on this, treat like a confidant. So when you stack the rest of the evidence, it's obvious this wasn't a one-off US experiment. It's the first visible glitch in a much larger monetization plan. We've now seen strings in ChatGPT, Android beta. It's out there, as Trump would say. Ads feature, search ads carousel, bizarre content, not a polished UI, literally ab subsystem under construction. So CFO Sarah Fryer is on record saying OpenAI is weighing ads into ChatGPT, okay? And there's spokespeople claiming there are no current plans. Get your act together, guys. Exos calls this obvious tension, right? Ads, they're just calling this out, right? Ads are the easiest way to pay for a product whose costs are blowing past subscription revenue. Then you look, I think I spoke about this a couple of months ago or a while ago, at the leaked revenue projections, a new free user monetization line starting around 2026, growing to almost 25 billion a year by 2029. And they're saying that's roughly 20% of OpenAI's total projected revenue. Totally, I'm only surprised that their imagination isn't big enough to make that a like much bigger piece of the pie. All the fun, right? So actually, probably they haven't even finalized how they'll monetize free users. But the options listed are exactly what you expect. Affiliate links, sponsored answers, traditional ads embedded into the surface chat, in the chat surface. Like Target, rogue experiment. I don't know. Would you not say it was a preview just to see what happens? So the reason this matters is ads in LLMs don't behave like ads in search. Search has always been polluted by commercial intent, but it's still transactional, right? And we all love a bit of transactional. That's why we go to Vegas. You type in a query, you get a page of links, and you can see ones that are sponsored, apparently. The cognitive model is, I'm shopping, I'm searching, I'm being advertised to. A chat model isn't that. It isn't. A chat model is closer to running a diary. You don't interact with it as a page full of units, or most people. You treat it as a single entity you talk to over time. And this is where the ethics go towards the moon and completely don't look back, right? First, neutrality. The whole appeal of ChatGPT in the early days was that it felt neutral. Ask it something, it tries to reason its way to an answer. Not perfect, sometimes hallucinates, but there was no obvious revenue-driven reason for it to prefer answers A over B. Ad-driven LLMs completely smash the house down, right? There's already serious work in advertising circles on using LLMs for dynamic creative optimization, taking a user's profile plus context and generating highly tailored pitches on the fly. Drop that into a chat assistant and the model isn't just choosing words to answer your question, it's choosing words to hit a conversational goal. It can rephrase, soften, emphasize, even coach you into that decision that pays the ad network. Look, you ask about anxiety coping techniques, and apparently I need that right now. You just don't get CBT basics, a little bit of chat therapy or that. You get a, by the way, lots of people in your situation find this premium mindful app helpful. Then insertion from a paying partner. Still technically true, still possibly plausible, but it's now a sales funnel, isn't it? In the research space, people are already warned that the fluency of LLMs makes this kind of persuasion hard to detect. There's a growing body of advertising and consumer protection papers essentially saying, if you blend ads into conversational AI, you're moving from display advertising into behavior shaping. Look, there's still hallucinations. They haven't gone away. Independent studies still show significant error rates on factual and reasoning tasks, mostly in all the work I tried to do, and them lawyers that got sacked for literally making up cases that never happened. The exact numbers depends on the benchmark, but it's not trivial. Once you start paying the model to present one product, one therapy, one financial product over another, you're incentivizing it to confidentially hallucinate, whatever they want to call it, whatever the words are, in favor of the sponsor. Second, I'm not going to go into this too far because I could go on forever. Privacy and deep interference. ChatGPT is no longer stateless. As we know, it's getting better. Well, better or worse, depending which side of the fence you are. Memory is here by default. It can remember that your kid has a peanut allergy, that you hate your job, that you're behind on your mortgage, and that you've been asking about divorce lawyers at 2 a.m. while in Vegas, sort of 8 deep in a whiskey and 6 cigars and some other stuff. Right, it's not just a few cookies. That's longitudinal site profile. And we can throw all the regulators and all the collections and all the stuff at that. It's like absolutely just crazy. Like if we move on from there just quickly, there's trust in the UX. We've already seen what happens when you jam AI and ads together in search. Google's AI overviews have triggered, everybody's triggered antitrust complaints in Europe. Hey, well, Europe's a bit sad anyway. Complain about everything over here, we do. With publishers arguing that AI summaries sit above their links, siphoning clicks and quietly promote Google's own properties. Look, imagine that dynamic inside chat feels like a private space. You're just talking to your chat buddy, and next thing it's just whacking stuff out. Look, this, like, use your imagination for all the malicious stuff this could do, not just like selling you a bit of chat space. Okay, what do we do about it? It's probably regulations. Somebody tell me it's better, but we can't wait for Brussels. Enterprise side, right? Treat a ad-driven consumer LLMs as hostile infrastructure. And that's where I'm going to leave you on that. If you're building it, don't get involved in this. If things have ad bias, get rid of it. Go for internal models. They're literally selling snow to Inuits. That's the right word, isn't it? Anyway, if we turn conversational AI into another ad slot, we'll never get trust back. That's what a lot of people are saying. But anyway, 5 years' time, hey, what will we be doing? We'll just be like, oh no, I feel sad. And then they'll be like, have some skills or something, because they're the only things left with numbers. Okay, back to my LLM, Dr. Doug, who's been super great at giving me ad-free advice for the last 7 years. And I'm doing great. Dr. Doug.
Thank you, Aaron. All right.
You're welcome.
A Tesla pop-up event for Art Basel Miami Beach was named The Future of Autonomy Visualized and featured a Cybercab and an Optimus robot. So these are two products that Tesla's making. And a video of the event went viral after being posted on Reddit, which shows an Optimus robot knock over some water bottles before lifting its arms in the air, is like, oh, and then just falling backwards. I mean, who knows if it was staged, if it was real, whatever. But the speculation is that a person was controlling the robot using VR and then reacted like a human to pull their goggles off and then pull. Yeah. And so the robot was mimicking them. These are called Waldos or teleoperations and stuff like that. And they've been going teleo operations, and they've been going on since Disney was building, the home of the future or whatever that thing, cavalcade of progress, I think is what that. Now is the time, that thing. But anyway, claims immediately erupted that this was another stunt by Elon Musk to overhype a product that maybe doesn't work quite the way it's supposed to. It's not sure. There's all kinds of other videos where they're showing robots doing things. And there's one where you can see like a hand that's doing the same thing, just sort of edging into the frame. I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure I'm ready to hire a Robo Alfred bot when I really want Michael Caine to give me advice. And I just don't much trust Tesla anymore. And for all I know, the whole thing was made up by some evil robo overlord who's manipulating Elon through a brain implant, or maybe it's an alien brain slug like the Puppet Masters. Ooh, Heinlein fans, come on. Heinlein was writing about brain slugs from Saturn in 1951. It's a great book if you haven't read it. You should read it. Now, the Hypnotoad commands you to read it. I am the Hypnotoad. Yeah, that's right. Anyway, that's the news. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks to all of you. And I will see you next time on the Security Weekly News.